Exotic animals. There's a reason they're exotics. They're exotic because A, very few people eat them, and they're exotic B, because often they're very hard to raise. So, for example, things like quail and pheasant are in a lot of ways quite fragile because they're kind of quasi-wild. And we tried pheasants, and I thought I had the cat's meow. I made a 12-foot by 20-foot by 8-foot tall PVC aviary, portable aviary. Hey, they can fly, we can move it. Thought, man, this is going to be the coolest thing since sliced bread. Got these pheasants in there, and pheasants, because they're wild, they're scared of people. You think a chicken is scared of people, man, a pheasant is a chicken times 10. And so every time we went out to move it, the pheasants, how do they protect themselves? How do they, what's their security? Well, they burrow down in the grass, they hide. So as soon as we went out around this beautiful, wonderful PVC, portable aviary I made, they would all burrow in the grass. Well, then you had to have, 2 people moving the pen and 2 or 3 people inside, kicking them up from the grass. And of course, you'd always miss one, and you'd hit that with the trailing edge of the pen and break a leg, break a wing, whatever, decapitate it. We just gave it up. So what you find is that the people that do this at scale, with these wild, especially fowl at scale, they have them in stationary places, completely penned, and they're feeding them antibiotics all the time because they can't spread out and get to new ground. A lot of antibiotics. When you buy, commercial quail or anything like that, pheasant in the store, let me tell you, they get I don't know a single producer in the country that does that on a commercial scale that doesn't feed bagfuls of antibiotics. The thing about them is that if they get away, you can't catch them. The chicken, if it gets out of your pen, well, you run her down and you can catch her. But any of these other things, if they get out, they're gone. And so that's an incredible high risk and fragility, especially since most of them are small and they can fly. I mean, a coop to keep a quail in has to be really, really small. It has to be really tight. And again, because they're small, they're very prone to predation, even more prone than a chicken to predation because they're small. Bottom line for me is, if you want to raise these things, it's fine. But just realize how many pounds of squab do you eat a year? How many pounds of quail do you eat a year? Or any emu, ostrich. Emu and ostrich, that's a whole different ball game. Those things are, if they kick you, they can kill you. I know people that have been disemboweled by ostriches. So I don't want to have an animal that can disembowel me, if I look at it the wrong way. Same thing with heritage turkeys that can fly. I think it's great to have a turkey that can fly. The problem is you can't control them. And so the beauty of, the non-flyers is that we can move them around and do this wonderful, control. But the birds that fly, they're going to roost in the same place. You can't control them. So by the time they're ready for Thanksgiving, they're going to be sleeping on 12 inches of poop because you can't make them go someplace else. So, all the exotics are exotic because they have an issue. And if you want to raise them, fine. I'm not going to, but just realize that they are exotics because they have specific problems. And if they were easy to raise or normal, they wouldn't be considered exotics. Anytime you get something that that's not domestic, making it fit within the confines of a domestic controlled system, staying on a place, staying in a place, and eating what they're not able to go to, adjoining counties to find something they want to eat. They've got to eat only what you give them to eat. All those things militate against the wildness of that critter. Do we take interns? So we call them stewards, because that connotes more of what we're after here, developing stewardship. And yeah, our steward program runs 5 months a year, May 1 to September 30. We take, at least now, we take 11 a year. The query time opens up August 1, runs to August 10. So August 1 to August 10 every year on our website, we have a link to a special website where you can query and say, put your name in the pot. Then we send a questionnaire, and you answer these roughly 10 questions. And there is a little, a 30-second audio, a video clip required as well. And we go through those and pick about 40 young folks, or don't have to be young, to come as a checkout. And we have a 2-day checkout period, normally about 2 weeks, from about December 1 to December, 12, 13, something like that, however the calendar falls there. And between Thanksgiving and Christmas, a 2-week checkout. So you've got to come, and we'll pick you up at the airport or the train station, but you got to come for 2 days, live here, eat with us, work with us for 2 days. And so it's a staggered time. You've got, say, 40 people, and they're coming through. So on any day, we'll have anywhere from 6 to 10 in a day here, during the checkout. And if it doesn't suit, too bad. There are no exceptions. There are no exceptions for being 1 minute late in the query process. No exceptions being 1 minute late in the application process. No exceptions being 1 minute late in the checkout process. We found that every time we start making concessions, it's a slippery slope, and you just head down. So you come for checkout, and then we pick our 11, and we're up good for the next season. And so the stewards live on site, get to eat out of our stash, and boy, do they eat eggs and sausage, man. I mean, like you've never seen it before. But that's fine. They live here, they eat here, we work here. We do have Monday through Friday, we have an on-farm chef who cooks our evening meals for us, so we can all eat as family. There's 25 of us that live here on the farm during that time, and so we get our wonderful evening meals. Gives us a chance to debrief and plan for the next day, and just enjoy the fellowship, the camaraderie of familial eating together. And we invest a lot in the in the stewardship. We go on field trips. We visit the slaughterhouse. We go to fairs. We just Saturday, most of them went to the South Pole Breed Association national meeting that happened to be here in Virginia. We do formal lectures. I do water and margins and cow days and different things. And we definitely each week we have half a day every week that we do what we call shop talk. And it's everything from, how to care for small engines to how to tie, learn how to tie about 3 or 4 rope knots, all sorts of things in the shop talk. So, we invest a lot. The mission statement for the stewards is come for a season and find out if you have what it takes to be a farmer. And then from the stewardship, if you want to stay on for the apprenticeship, then you put your name in a pot partway through that. And the apprenticeship then runs October 15 to October 15. It's another year. So an apprentice has been here 5 months of the stewardship, 12 months of the apprenticeship, and the apprentices then become the first level managers of the next year's stewards. So there's a continuity in the program. The mission statement of the apprenticeship is to learn the Polyface way and be able to duplicate it anywhere in the world. So there's 2 very different mission statements for the 2 very different programs, but obviously they complement each other. And yeah, it's a way for me to be surrounded by enthusiastic, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, entrepreneurial young people. And that's a fun thing to do as a farmer when you're my age. Most farmers my age are lonelier than they've ever been in their life. Kids are gone. You feel your aches and pains. So to be at this age, surrounded by all this youthful enthusiasm, is almost unspeakably blessed.